And with Reduce on the Paintology drawing app, available from the Google Play Store for Android users. So if you're new to this live stream, you will learn digital drawing, but somewhat differently to what you're used to, which is not the use of tools to get the drawing that you want, but more developing techniques, the art techniques that are familiar to many traditional artists, which is simplicity of tools and trying to home in on the skills around fundamentals of art and art techniques. So this is what Paintology is all about. Don't assume it's like any other digital drawing app. It is not. It has been designed to develop your skills in art. It's not a showcase full of tools that most other digital apps come with, and which allows you to make drawings. It actually teaches you. The whole premise of the app, Paintology app, is to teach you drawing and drawing techniques in digital. It's the reason why, I can make drawings like this in a matter of half an hour. This one was I did yesterday. This is on the phone. So by the way, you'll notice that my live stream is now coming appearing in portrait. I've been working with some of the YouTube backend engineers, and they've somehow, they've diagnosed some issues, and through they've been managed to fix some of the issues related to landscape and portrait mode. So I'm hoping this will be the complete resolution, but I'm still waiting to hear from them for another fix. But we'll see what happens. So this is in portrait mode, and the phone is very comfortable when held in the portrait mode naturally, right? So that's why I'm comfortable drawing in portrait mode, but I've been drawing in the landscape mode for quite a bit. This is typically how I draw on the phone. This is my phone that I use to demonstrate my drawings. And here you can see this one of my live stream I did a few weeks back using my finger. So you can use your finger. But if you're more into drawing and art, and you like art like majority others, you might want to invest in this stylus. It's not expensive actually; they're very cheap. You can get it for a few dollars from eBay and Amazon if you live in the States. Yeah. Okay, so what do we have here? Let me show you some other items of interest. This is the Paintology.com website. And the Paintology.com website is a very useful resource. So, bearing in mind that Paintology comes from a different angle, it's not just to showcase or promote my art, and even though I'm at a particular level where appears to be impressive, but I'm not here for that reason. I'm here to teach you, ground you in the fundamentals of art, the art that allowed me as a child at school to make impressive drawings to impress the students and the teachers, right? And many of you tried to get on that path as a youngster, but later on dismissed it as something the kids were born with, which is not true at all, as Paintology will demonstrate and explain to you. So this is the homepage of the Paintology.com website, and it's where all the tutorials are that you'll see here. If we go to the tutorials, you'll see they're divided by paint by numbers. Right, you'll see all of them. Let's have a look. Paint by. Okay, let's click on that. I think I need to update this website soon. But it's got all the useful resources for. Okay, somehow maybe a network problem I'm having right now. So let's skip that. Okay, so this is the Paintology.com website, and then you can go to tutorials, communities where people post their all their drawings, and you can check it out. And that's all available on the app as well. And the blog is where I write many topics related to digital drawing and traditional. You can read all about them. And it's breaking down the myths of drawing in general. And I'm trying to keep up to date as much as I can. And then, um, and then I will show you what else I have is the Quora platform, which is a very powerful. Okay, let me go back. Sorry about that. Let me go to the Quora here, open an app. So you can see here that this is I'm announcing the fact that I have a live stream coming up, and this particular line drawing, in case you don't get enough of my first lesson right this time, you may want to hop onto the Produce channel and check out another live session I'll be doing straight after this. And this is all you do is it's the actual, to get to the Quora space, type in paintology.quora.com and you'll get all all the information that I put on a daily basis, including, so I usually put drawings that I've been doing and a short blurb on this, but I also put down some important topics related to art as well. For example, the fundamentals of art you can read about. So if you if you are so keen, I would also go to, sorry, this is the wrong, go to my Produce profile, which is this one. So you can see here, this is my profile on the Quora space, and you will see here. So I have links in a lot of the videos that you have on the YouTube channel, and you can see here that I have all the blog topics, including the question and answers I've been putting up, not just the artwork from the paintology.quora.com, but you can see here I have over 1,000, 3,000 answers related to art. So art is it's a very subjective field in the sense that you need to learn, you need to immerse yourself to really, truly appreciate it. And the reason why people want to jump into art is that they see many other artists at work and they see the quality of their creation, and they find that and they want to do the same. But I think, I think a lot of people, I'm sorry, the sound may have just diminished a bit. I believe that many of the people want to do art because the enormous satisfaction, reward, the pride and joy of doing a piece of artwork that it can bring. And I believe that's the reason why a lot of people gravitate towards art. And at the same time, a lot of people will give up art because they will feel that they can't go any further than where they've gone. And it's no surprise, because if you look at traditional art pieces, right, you will see that, I'll show you a few others I've done. Yeah. This one, very easy. It took me less than half an hour to do this one. This is probably recognize her face, the famous actress Angela Jolie. Okay, so the reason why a lot of people can give up art, and it's more and art is much more uh, digital drawing allows many people to get to art, to do digital art, because it's got tools. It actually overcomes many of the techniques and art skills that have been the mainstay of traditional art for centuries, and that's what allows people in the mainstream traditional field to do really good artwork, art pieces. But then the digital art, digital drawings and that came and changed all that. And it's a double-edged sword. I'm telling you, it's a double-edged sword because digital art now has tools for everything, and as a result, people become so heavily dependent on tools and they've forgotten about techniques. So they're looking for every tool to do everything regarding an art, like textures, blending, brushes, layers, blurring, you name it. And that's why digital art looks like digital art. It doesn't look like natural art done by traditional. And but if you look at my art piece, they're all can be mistaken for traditional art. So I would. There's a drawing I did of a landscape. You see, it's quite. This was done in landscape mode. This was one of the live streams, so that if I turn in landscape, you could see in more detail. But since I'm in portrait mode, it's not possible. So anyway, so what I'm saying is my artwork is mistaken for, and there's a good reason for that. And I'm pretty sure you're here to teach yourself or understand the concept of the methods that I use to draw. If you're looking for tools for quick fixes, then you naturally gravitate towards tools for everything, and you will never really edge yourself further in art. So the techniques that I'm showing you are course techniques applies to all kinds of art, any art medium, not just digital medium. So keep that in mind. And then one of the aims of the Paintology app is the tutorial section here. And the tutorial section allows you to learn and improve your art by doing fun tutorials. Take this pizza, for example, right? You can see that you can pick numbers from the color palette at the bottom, right? And then use a line brush. And there you are, you can 8. So you have very high degree of rotation, and you can adjust the brush size and everything. And you should check out one of my yesterday's introduction, a quick intro to Paintology, if you really want to understand the tools that I've provided. Well, understand the tutorials, I should say, in this section, in this very important section on tutorials. Over 700 tutorials now, and well, although it says 883, a lot of them are also articles and posts, right? So a few of them that you can read. There's a community section here, and that allows you to post. You see here, someone's drawn a nose here, tried their attempt at drawing a nose. Yeah, but you haven't shaded it. Yeah, do you want to know how to shade it? Well, you should follow the video that I've provided there. Anyway, there's quite a bit. You can see that some people are attempting their drawings. And so there's an excellent number. So you can start chatting with these folks here. And then some of them are actually obviously drawing in Paintology. So the other thing I want to show you is that if you want to do ahead of time, get the reference image, you should go to, I'm going to go here, go to paintology.com, and then go down a bit and then go to the live streams Google just under the video, and then here you'll see the reference image. You see 27th September. This is the reference image that we're going to use for our drawing to show you the art techniques, right? So the majority of people who cannot draw are not able to draw because they probably have no interest. They feel that they haven't got any skills. I've got a few amongst family members who say they can't draw. They show me a drawing and that's it. They say that's all I can do. And I said, really? Have you stopped there for any particular reason? And then they just say they can't draw, they're not born with it or anything. It's so sad, but anyway, I don't want to go into too much details. Very negative view of drawing. But anyway, so there you can see the reference image. The other thing I want to mention to you, very important if you're really serious about learning art skills. I'm I'm I am hoping that the Paintology will be pushed towards some of the art classes because it has teaches you the basics and essential for for doing for teaching the fundamental core skills of art, which even I'm sad to say some of the academics have not picked up yet. So because they have they feel that digital art belongs to another category when in effect it belongs to the art medium category. So let me show you. This is a Google Classroom, which link you'll find also in the description. Again, it's got so many. You can go to each one of these and getting the details of that, and you can follow step by step, structured. There, draw tools, painting with color, drawing practice. You can follow this, really get up to speed. Of course, you can skip depending on how good you are, but again, it's down to personality. A lot of your ability in progressing through art is down to your interest, passion, and ability, and not just ability in drawing, but it's really a mindset. And I've written a lot of topics related to acquiring skill sets, and you can read that in my blog post as well. So let's head back to. So I would encourage you to really check out the Google Classroom. It's free. Okay, so let's go straight ahead and load the image we're going to draw here. This one. Before you just dive into a drawing, you're going to bring your experience forward, isn't it? Depending on what level you are in the drawing stage. If you're a beginner, remember you're going to come with a lot of preconceived ideas, preconceived notions of how to go about doing a particular drawing. If you are heavily into the other digital apps, you'll be looking at this piece of drawing and thinking, what tool shall I use? What tool shall I use to do that? And when you start thinking like that, unfortunately, you're bound by the tools, right? And you should ask yourself, okay, you should give yourself a chance to look at what I'm going to show you. If you're just starting out, then it's a really good thing because now you can absorb and come with an open mind and learn as much as you can. This was a particularly beautiful scene that I picked out deliberately because it's going to show a couple of things. Blending that I'm going to do, and that's not using a blending tool, okay, if that's what you're thinking. And also the tonal variations in a sunset is so wonderful in the sense that you have the dark tones at the bottom here, and then it gradually goes towards light here in this section, and then the light tone, and then it meets at this plane here. So it's a beautiful, like warm looking scene that almost wakes you up. It's one of Mother Nature's beautiful scenic scenes that just mesmerizes you when you look at it. And so the what we're going to do this, and then this area here, I want to show you this particular area here have got tonal variations that are actually, I'm going to show you with the grayscale. Let's switch this to grayscale. I'm going to show you with the grayscale to show you how these tonal variations in this particular area down towards the land is actually changes, but it tends to be on the top darker area. Okay, so tones naturally are something that one talks about in drawing. If you go to any drawing class, believe me, the first thing the artist's going to talk about is tones and values and shading, okay? It's the reason why I can draw so effectively, because I have my mind is really tuned into tones by drawing this way. So let's go down here and then let's pick the color tones that appear in this. I haven't used portrait for a while. It seems like a little bit awkward, but it's quite natural. So here, can you see how this changed? Let me show you again. I'm in the top half of the reference image, which means that any colors I pick will actually appear on the, it will be the color of the reference image. Anything below this point is my drawing. So if I used a color picker, I would be basically picking out white all the time, right? Picking out white. Okay, got it. Okay, and then here, pick out the color black. There, can you see it? The dark tone. And then let's pick this tone in the middle. Look how far it's gone. And then let's pick another tone. It's gone there. And then let's pick this tone. Let's pick this. Let's pick that. Let's pick this. So what's happening here? You can see these tones doesn't look as though it's changed, but if I were to increase that, so now you can see it. Look at that. I'm going to color picker here, then color picker there, and then a color picker here, then a color picker here, then a color picker here. You can see these tones look so close to each other. Let's zoom in. You see, they look so close to each other, and to differentiate these tones are really hard, and that's why our eyes tend to conjure up specific images that are in our memory, and therefore it makes. But in essence, because these tones are on the, because the tones are in the top half. Let's see if this, like in the dark part of the shade of the scale, grayscale, it means that it's more forgiving to a drawing or painting. That's why one of the reasons why I pick these sunsets, because it's so easy to pull off, and it allows you to create good drawings, but at the same time it encourages you to go further because it's easier to do. So you can see how tonal values change. And now let's pick the color tone that's where the sun is. Look how far down it has gone. Can you see it? The grayscale? Very light down. And these are the tonal values that adds volume, shape, depth, and everything that makes the entire drawing so wonderful to look at, isn't it? And people get amazed by it. So let's discard. I'm not going to undo. Let's open up the drawing again. Trace the same drawing. Here it is. And then we're going to switch out the grayscale. We're going to do this in color, because in color it looks glorious, doesn't it? So I'm going to show you blending and also the application of block coloring. Block coloring, if you don't know already, again, I'm going to ask you to go to the intro, half an hour of intro that I talked about yesterday on the channel, and it goes through pencil drawing, block coloring, paint by numbers. It's probably, in my opinion, the three methods of drawing that will develop your skills in all fronts. It will rapidly allow you to tune your brain into tones, shading, and believe me, it will, if you're into paper, pencil drawing, it will enhance your skills there as well. So I want to bridge that gap between traditional and digital, which has evolved unexpectedly because of the way the mediums are used, and I'm hoping that by bridging this gap, more people will enjoy the digital medium and won't look at it like it's not really true art, like even some of the curators and some of the established art museum tend to think, which is very, like, how can I put it, very shallow thinking in my opinion. And I can talk to them head face to face if they want, and tell them that digital art is art in by equal measures, just like traditional art. If they want to challenge me, I will go ahead face to face with them. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, you're here to learn art. So let's go ahead and see block coloring. Block coloring, as you know, if you're familiar with how I draw, I'll go to line brush here, and then I use line and shade. These are the only two brushes that is all you need to be able to make fantastic drawings. And then you'll see a lot of my drawings that I've done with just one single brush, like the shade, even photorealistic drawings. So I select, so now you know that I need to keep my cursor just above the midpoint in order to select the reference colors. So I have it at 21%, and let me see if I can use the color picker. Yep. So I'm able to use my color picker and pick these colors up that are, continue to pick, let me put this at the bottom, continue to pick these colors, right? And then go to the next level of my, pick that color tone and just run across it, because the tones are changing in the vertical ways, right? So if I get the colors of just like that, okay, can you see it? There, there, you can see even the tones are changing, right? And I'm just going to, that's all I'm doing. I'm not zooming in yet. Normally I would zoom in to do the refine the edges, but I find this work seems to be working all right. So I'm taking the tone as soon as I pick the color picker and put my stylus on the particular area, it picks that tone, and that's the tone I'm carrying all the way to the edge, right? Assuming that it's uniform all the way to the edge, okay? That's all I'm doing here. This does not require any skills of any kinds. Just picking, being able to use the simple tools like the color picker, okay? So people are not aware of this method of drawing. Oops, okay, and it's a shame because, but the only reason I'm able to draw with this method of the drawing, look, I'm going down a bit. The only reason I can draw like this is because I've had a good grounding. We're going to go slowly, so just do what I'm doing. And look, if I pick my color picker anywhere here, it changes color. If I go here, it changes color. I'm not too worried about that because I'm just laying down the basic colors first. And that's what you'll see a lot of artists do the same thing, even in traditional materials, don't they? This is typically how they would lay down the first basic colors first and then gradually work out the detail. That's exactly what I'm doing here. Can you see? Just, and same here. I'm just going to carry this with the same brush. You see, I'm trying to follow the land. Yeah, can you see? Following the land. And you don't want to get details right away. Color picker, see, that's all I'm doing. Can you pick the color picker here? That's all I'm doing, creating a form of shape of the colors, the main primary colors that exist. And when I say primary colors, I mean the main colors that are clearly evident in this image, right? And I'm picking the exact colors. The beauty of digital is I don't have to mix colors. I'm picking the exact colors that are actually in the reference image. You can't get better than that, can you really? This, I know that this black to be similar somewhat, but even if you want to be careful, you can still continue to pick the colors and know that these colors may change in tone as it gets towards the bottom, right? But from what my eyes can see, it's clearly the same black, right? Okay, so let's see what we have here. We've got this so far. This is what we've made, right? Can you see that even with that brush, with such a rapidity, we've been able to create somewhat similar to that. So let's save that. That's our drawing right from the left, right? So I'm sure you can arrive at this stage with very little time. And what's it doing? Two things it's doing, fundamental things that it's doing. It's first developing your strokes so your strokes are not all over the place. And this is where a lot of beginners, when they go into digital drawing, say, my strokes are not all wiggly. I want an auto correction. And straight away they will go towards the auto correction line brush, which corrects your wiggly lines, and now they're on the path towards just drawing digitally. Everything will look digital at the end once you use the autocorrection brush. And believe me, I, I will be able to. There's very rarely if I will be able to say this was not done by digital art, because I can tell just because the tools are too refined. The tools, the blending, blurring, are just too refined. And in nature is not that perfect. And that's my traditional art resembling nature is much more appreciated rather than through digital art. But anyway, more less of that. Let's go back to where we are and then let's look at this, right? Now, if you look at this original reference image, you will see that the point of focus is that bright sun settling at the back behind clouds or mountains, I don't know. And then we need to capture that, isn't it? And that's going to be detailed. We cannot use this brush size to do that. Just makes total sense. So we're going to have to reduce the brush. So how would we go? Now, this is the thinking that goes on behind an artist and the reason why they can't talk about how they break down their stylistic way of creating art, no matter how much information they give you. I've seen a lot of people saying, I'm going to teach you this art, 2-3 hour lesson. It's just mere impossible to put that down into, especially with traditional art. And the reason for that is because traditional art is very unique to the artist. But when it comes to digital art, there is none of that uniqueness. You can, to give you an example, someone who's drawing an anime will be able to tell you exactly the steps to take to draw the anime, and you will not get lost. And in the same way, I'm going to teach you these techniques, digital. You will know what brush size I've used, like this line brush, because I don't go through tool after tool. It'll be easier to follow, okay? So I would do that, right? So let's first look at this drawing and then look at our drawing and look at this and see what we can improve. This is the first step of our drawing process, and I know that I need to blend those colors that are coming down to the horizon And then I also need to do these that replicate the foreground trees and the tree lines, and then perhaps the clouds that are just about, being formed there. So how can we do this? So the next step is we can do it two ways. We've got 21%. Now I'm going to show you what happens when we just simply take that down to 10%. Okay? And now we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to now try and pick the color brush, pick the color picker, just run our brush, pick the color, just run our brush like this. Wow. Have you seen that? Do you see what's happening here? Does it make sense? Look at these, look at the tones that we're getting. We're getting a higher granular ideas of tones than with the bigger brush, yeah? Look at that. So the tones that we picked in the center is actually lighter. So let's go here. Okay. So what we can do is, by doing that, we're picking the tones. So it's some mistake. I made a mistake here. I don't know what exactly happened. I'm actually laying down tones at the reduced brush size, okay? That's all I'm doing. And then I'm trying to break down the tones that are more brighter in the middle here. So I'm sorry if I wasn't being very clear, but I was trying to do something different here. So now what I'm doing, see, now I've got a smaller brush. In fact, what I should have done was, there, look at how the tones. Have we got these tones right? Maybe we haven't got this area right. So let's pick these tones here. There. Okay. So now we're trying to do the block coloring at a very small granular level. Right. It didn't quite work as I wanted to. Okay. Trust me, one of my qualities is to experiment. If I don't experiment, you don't learn. So if you think you're making a mistake, it's a good thing because it means you're learning. Look at these. Let me show you this palette. Look at the color palette. Look at I just want to show you how many tones are in play here on the sky, just in the sky. So let's get out. So now I'm getting close to the horizon. I didn't pick the color picker properly, so now I'm getting close, and then also I'm keeping my localized brush very close to the tonal value changes in that horizon. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to get close to the tonal values that are close to the horizon instead of using the broader brush with the tonal brush changes too, with the tonal gradient changes too quickly. What I'm trying to do is see, now I'm capturing the tonal variation. So I'm actually now seeing tones in a very different light, no pun intended. Before we saw the tones change, but look at these tones, how they change in color near the horizon. Yeah? So now we're going to get close to that Oops. I'm going to zoom in, right? Look at that. You see the tone changes there? Look at that. There. See, and even our brush is way too big for the tonal gradients there. Right? So now you can see even there when I'm doing this, the tones change. Look at that. Now that's how you tune your brain into the tones I'm talking about. So as you get closer, there you see the tones change, the tonal values change. So let's zoom out of it. So you can see there are tonal variations there. That area particular, right? Let me just, this particular area, did you see how it changed? Even with the smaller brush that we use. So I just wanted to show you that you could actually do the blending with the larger brush size, but I'm a bit reluctant to do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay down the lay of the land, as it were, and then continue to switch between my drawing and then just switch between my drawing and picking the tones for that area here. This is what I'm doing. Switching. Okay. Yeah, here's another one. Here's a bit of land there. Can you see it? And then here's this tone that I picked. And then I go back to my drawing and then just put that color down. And I'm going to continue that across the horizon. And then you can see that this. Let's put that down. Then this. Put this down. And then this color. See that? This color. This color is just this silly thing. This color here. Just bring that down, and then we have this color here. This. You see what I'm doing here? Just trying to replicate tones. Right, and then this, that tone there. It's not that dark tone, right? That's all I'm doing. And then this tone here, putting that tone down there. See, that's all I've done. I've just put down tones at such a low level, not at such a low level, but at a low level that gives the distinction that there are tonal gradients. Look at this here. We're going to do the tops of the tree. See that? There. See the dark tones here when you switch between my drawing. We just want to make sure we can replicate that. That's all. Yeah. So this light tone there, just going. Remember, we used the bigger broad brush to put that down initially, but now we're getting really closer, a bit closer to the details and defining those tones better. That's all. See that? It's a bit darker. Lay that down. Just use that. Yeah. And then look at this lovely greyish tone that's going on here. This is not really form of drawing, is it? It's really just copying and understanding what's going on. We want to capture these clouds, and I'm going to show you later how to capture the pure essence of what this drawing is all about. We can capture it because we've got so much control over this tool sets we have. Look at these lovely trees that are going hopping up and down here. Okay, so let's zoom out and see what we have here. You see, we've created some shape and form that is close to what we had here. See there? And then we can go and say, well, you know what? I need to define this edge here. See that there? Those mountain tops, right? Just make it similar to what it was. So that's our step 2 or 3 in the drawing process. So let's save this. So let's now, actually, you'll have to excuse me for 1 second. Hello, sorry. I'm back again. So where were we on this drawing? So you can see, to recap, I used a larger broad brush to lay down the foundational colors through block coloring. And then I tried to show you with smaller brushes, the tonal variations can change significantly and we can pick out more gradients of tones. Yeah, with the smaller brush. And we continued with the smaller brush to lay down the foreground of the tones that are happening. Yeah, can you see? And so this is effectively a form of blending. It's actually a technique used at a microscopic level when you've seen so many people do hyperrealism art. They are actually getting the exact tones and matching it to the next tone in the microscopic detail of the whole final painting. And truthfully, it's a form of drawing, but To me, it's not really any kind of artistic skills required in that. It just essentially just boils down to tones. They're trying to mix colors, get in acrylic, whatever medium, and trying to replicate the exact tones at that small region in space. And you could do this in digitally as well. I could show them that it's going to be perfectly replicated in the digital medium, so they don't have to invest in a huge canvas. But it looks very grand. When someone looks at a grand picture of hyperrealism, it looks grandeur, doesn't it? But anyway, this just goes to show the power of the digital medium. So let's now see how we're going to do this next piece. So now that we've come to this step, we're building it up slowly, step by step, and towards the final. Now, I'm going to show you a technique which my daughter actually showed me. This was going to more brushes, shade, select the shade brush, and now I'm going to at 10%, keep it at 100%, don't worry about that setting yet. And then let's pick this color, the gray color here, and then let's just see what happens as we mix it, as we draw. You may not see it, but it's actually mixing the adjacent color, just laying down a very fine color. Okay, can you see it? And then let's pick the color here that we want to get. Just mix it. See that? How it's beautifully mixing the whole sky. And then we can pick the colors because we're trying to resemble the color of the sky. So you can pick the colors in that particular region. Just continue. I'm going to get 10%. Seems to do the work, depending on how much region you want to cover. Okay. And then let's go here. So what's happening here is when I was using a smaller brush, the tonal variations was quite significant because the tones. Remember, when I used a broad brush, I was going sweeping horizontal stroke, and now when I use the smaller brush, I noticed the tonal variations was quite high because it was a smaller brush, and therefore I was making these strange marks here on the colors. So that explains what I was doing. And then I actually thought something was going wrong, but it's not. It's actually the tonal variation of this sky. Yeah, that's all it was. So let's look this here. It's actually lighter in this region, but towards the edges it gets a little bit darker. So we're trying to maintain the tones that are evident here. Look, trying to take that sky down. Right. Still matching the tone values. There, see? There. Trying to get rid of these. Can you see it? Yes. And then here. There. So we've got tones here. Get that mixed. Then we've got some dark tones. Now your brain really becomes thinking about the tones that are changing at that level, okay? But look, here you can see that I'm following the direction of how these tones change. So I'm using the reference image that dark tone. We're going to have to change that tone there. Look at that, how it mixes. Beautiful, isn't it? We can increase it a little bit. All right, and then we can go down. This is what mixing is like, but it's more powerful. More powerful than the traditional because you have so much high degree of control. So let's mix that. There. And then this is the tonal. Look at these beautiful tones that change. Around there is like an orange bloom here. And that's sky, isn't it? That's sun. And here, can you see it? How the tones change here. We got darker region here, and then we're just simply gonna turn that into like a sky, then increase it if you have to, so you get more coverage. And then if you think you need to go darker here, then go dark, then that, and then what about here? Look at that. This change is a lot different to the one what we have. So I'm going to take that. Look at that beautiful orange color. And then it suddenly changes into a lovely, look at that change in the color. Wonderful, isn't it? Capturing that, yeah? And then we can see that we need to do something with that here. And then we got the right size, so I'm going to continue up there. Just take that out and then use my yellow that I already have on there. Just stretch it out. So let's see if we've got a nice sky. Almost, isn't it? It's almost like coming out as a beautiful sky, isn't it? But not quite. It really needs a bit more merging, and that's where your skill set comes in. All right, let's look at that right now. There's this, we've got this sort of the right hump, and then here I believe I need a little bit more, and I can take the hardness down so I have more control. Then let's take this hardness down even more and see if I can make this work, yeah? It's already working, I think. And then we have this beautiful haze here. It's not quite. And what we have on the other side, the same thing, and that beautiful, wonderful haze going down. And then we want to try and make that uniform, right? So let's get something in between and just get that. So that we can keep working at it and getting it better and better. Now you can see here till the, now you can see how your brain's tuned in to these tones. It's really become more acute. as you keep doing this. This is what something the artist's not able to convey when they do a... How do you get this? But you can see that I've got a setting here, and you can do the same thing, right? As I'm going through and following my strokes, right? And then here we have, that's right, when we use the smaller brush, it changed significantly. Right, and then this is a beautiful area. It's like the yellow. It's like amazing how it changes. Look at that. We haven't quite captured that, but look now how the image falls with the landscape in that direction, right? It falls in that direction here, right? That's all it's doing. It's falling, the light is falling. Now there's a grey tone here, can you see it? There's a grey tone, so we're going to take that grey and increase that a lot more, right? And see if we can just diffuse that out and make that look like more uniform. Right there. Wow, it's amazing, isn't it, what you can do? That's some improvement, isn't it? Almost immediately now the sun's sky is having an effect on the whole complete composition of the drawing, yeah? Composition of the painting. Now you can see that this yellow needs to be just stretched so we don't have these little ripples of grey showing. This is a detail that you can reach with digital. It's incredible, isn't it? Let's look at the details. Even though I haven't got it quite right, here you can see here it's a bit difficult to replicate all this, but we can diffuse it. See? It's like you've got such a high degree of control, even here, right? Take, for example, here, because we've got a big brush, that should diffuse it in that area and make that uniform. And it does, see? It does make it uniform, see? So this is a control you have, enormous control, which you couldn't typically get with a brush. Now let's now decide, let's save this and now decide what we're going to do with the next step. This is part of the drawing process. Okay, come on, save. Okay, so look at the drawing and then you look at this. Look at that drawing. Now you know the shade brush is a wonderful brush. Look at that. Our drawing is slightly different. It's almost like the darkness has emanated out towards, right? But it looks very visually stunning, isn't it? The sun. And we'll come back to the mountain scene that's at the tip of the horizon, yeah? But let's finish the rest, okay? Let's try and meld the other areas, the sky and the other areas. Now, how are we going to do that? Well, I think have probably a good idea what to do. So I'm going to go and stick to the shade brush, keep it 100%, and let's take it down, right? And let's see if we can do anything on this. So we're going to switch a bit back and forth between the drawing and our canvas. So I'm going to pick the color picker and go and head for this second layer of the landscape here. See how it diffuses? And then I'm going to pick this hair brush and just put something here on the back, giving the formation of something dark. And then I'm going to pick this color and then reduce it and then add something similar with the diffused look. Okay, and it's not quite the same. You notice we got this area. I'm going to cover that here. All right, I'm trying to get back to, because we made a mistake of creating another. It wasn't a mistake as such, but we can take it to our advantage and just see that how it flows. It just shades, giving the illusion of diffused look, which is what we want, right? And then I'm gonna obviously put my attention to these clouds. I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna save this, and then I'm gonna come out of it because I'm working on a prototype. I'm actually working on a prototype drawing of an app. This is the prototype app where we're trying to fix some memory issues. And when I reload it, it will clear the memory. Yeah. So don't worry about it yet. So we've zoomed in. This is perfect, works perfectly fine for it. Just for some devices, we're trying to look at that more closely. So you can see that. I just want to diffuse the area, and this might be too thick. So I've kept it 100%. All right, let's diffuse that area there, because it's not going to look choppy in the real world, is it? There. All right, there. Let's do that. And then look at this area here. We can continue to build this cloudy type area and take it down if you have to. And then pick these colors, the light colors. Remember I told you earlier that this is the clouds. It's almost like the clouds being formed. Even though it looks white, trust me, look at the colors that it's actually picked. It's dark, isn't it? That's what I was telling you earlier. That we're in a region where it's completely dark, but in essence our eyes formulates a lighter image. So we got these lovely clouds here. So they look like clouds. Let's take it down all the way down and then see if we can shape these clouds, right? Is that the beginning to look like some clouds, isn't it? There, we managed to pull it off, didn't we? And then here, yes, we managed to pull it off. Wow. I wasn't so sure how we were going to do this, but I think we managed to pull it off. And then these are not so big. So you can see here, then blue here, it's like this color. Look at that, it looks like it's stretching the blue, right? But in effect, the colors look like exactly the same. Just that we're operating at a very higher dark threshold. There's a name for it. And then we might come back to the line brush to add these little details that make up a difference, that make this drawing more like what we want. So these clouds there, let's take that up a bit, because you can see these clouds are And I call them clouds, but look at the color. Still black, isn't it? That's where your brain gets tuned into it. You'd be like shocked at how. Just look at these. They look like clouds because our eyes form clouds, but look at the color. It's dark. So weird, isn't it? It's not the clouds. Our eyes are assuming it's clouds, but they're not. That's why it's such a beautiful picture to look at because you didn't know what to make out of it. Okay, so here, and then here, and then I can add the tree lines in a with the line brush. But for now, I'm just trying to get the basis of it down. Look at this. It looks like a cloud as well. Right there. Right there, look. I mean, how is it possible to do that in the traditional? Right? Just not. There, adding these darker colors that look like clouds. Let's see what we have. And we haven't even touched these plants that's coming up. Let's see what we have. Look, managed to pull it off, didn't we? These clouds, they look like clouds, don't they? How wonderful is that? Amazing. Okay, let's save that. Anyway, this is something what I want to tell you is that you learn something all the time. If you're not learning and you're using the same tools, maybe you like that sort of thing. But honestly, if you really want to expand your art skills, you need to be prepared for experimenting and doing different things. I think we got some clouds. Really, I didn't think we were going to pull it up, but there you are, with a little bit of effort. Now, you'll see that some of these features here, I'm going to show you, actually have a little bit of density associated with it. And this is where you're going to see how the picture will start coming alive. And then we'll finish off with the horizon of the mountain range at the top, which has to be pronounced, isn't it? Look, has to be a little pronounced. Even though there's a mistiness, has to be some pronounced. And we'll finish it off with that. But first, let's finish with what we've been doing, these clouds, generating these unique clouds here, which looks like clouds, but now we're going to do some of the shapes. And I'm going to start off with this. Go back to the line brush, okay? That's all you need. And now let's take the density down 50. Why am I taking it down 50? Well, there's absolutely good reason for that. The reason is if I don't want anything with like an ink-like quality with a hard edge, then I would obviously pick something with less opacity, meaning that if I have it halfway, I could go over that tone several times, just like a pencil, and build up the shade. So it behaves so much like a traditional. So that's the opacity settings, or also called the density settings. So let me take that up there and pick this brush here, and let's zoom in that area that we want to address and see if we can replicate what's going on in here. Okay, here I'm going to pick the color picker, and I got a really tiny brush, 1% or above, right? And then I'm just going to go here and then see what happens. I'm not trying to follow exactly, I'm just trying to get the idea of the shape. And then obviously, and see if I can pull it off, okay? I'm not worried about the shapes I've already got there. I'm not going to change that because I'm not trying to replicate exactly, and see if I can pull off this like branch-like tree-like structure, and then here. Right, and then see if that works, right? And then we have this beautiful branch here, 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 and here. And see if we can pull that off as well. Okay, and if not, we'll come back to it, revisit it, and see what more we need to do. Okay, let's just go here. Let's see if that works. Wow, that is working, isn't it? Yes, I'm happy with that. So the same thing, we just go over here. This seems to be a good setting here. I may just up it a little bit, 1.26%, and then I'm just going to go around doing the lay of the land, the foreground here, which is right, just creating the illusion. Right, just work at it. Let's take this up a bit. Yeah, that's it. Look at that. It's worked perfectly. And now, this is our drawing. You won't believe it's our drawing, is it? But it is our drawing. So now let's go back here and pick these lovely tones that are the same plants, but it's in the horizon, and then that's in the middle section. So it's a little the same colors. So I'm going to pick that, take that up a little bit, and actually this is all experimental. Yeah, and let's see if we've got everything here. Look here. The illusion of effects, isn't it? That's all it is, the illusion of effects. Down here. Right there. And now, what do we need? Oh, we've got some beautiful, the same thing going on here. So let's take that down a little bit, and the same thing. There's that tree, right? So we're not worried about the exact details of it. Just want to create that the clouds are just keeping this there. Can you see it? Right, I think we got something, isn't it? And we got that those colors, those things that are actually working in the background here. Yeah, like giving the illusion of a distant plantation, and then this area we got here as well. And now what we can do is, I think the sun's all right. I don't have to do anything. I was spot on there, isn't it, with the sun? And then we can go here and continue, and then just pick that brush, the darker, and then give some elements of contour to that, right? Yeah, it looks like, all right. I think we're more or less done. I just want to do this area next to that. Just bring that down a little bit there. Just bring that down and take that sun. Just tie that down. And that's beautiful, isn't it? Look at that, it's such little effort. So what we have here, this is our drawing. We've got a cloud-like structure. It's almost like we're on a plane looking down at the horizon. And when we blended it, this, honestly, I mean, I haven't done blending um, quite a lot. In fact, I'm learning with you guys as I do the blending. And then you can see the threshold of the tone values are so high up in this region here. And that's why we could get away with colors that looks like clouds, but in reality, that's dark. Those clouds are dark. Let me show you again when I pick the color picker. That's the color of the clouds. Can you believe it? Can you see how the illusion of our eyes work? Look at that. And that looks like a blue, doesn't it? But look on the color tone we've got. It's so grayish, even though it's pointing to a blue color, right? Just wonderful of nature's color, isn't it? So I'm going to just sign it here and then we'll finish here, yeah? So just go here, just type in. Alright, so it's Paintology here. In fact, I don't like this signature, it's way too big. I'm going to try and reduce that signature a tad amount. So look, Paintology, there it is. So there you are. So I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have, and I've learned quite a lot here. And you can see that this was where I show you the threshold of tones, the tones that exist in the darker section of the area, and they look almost like colors. Our eyes are tuned into the color, and you can see that they look like colors in the clouds. So I hope this was a good demonstration of tones. Improving your tones is everything about drawing. You get your tones right, you will rapidly do drawings. So until again, and please subscribe. And so now, until again, don't forget there's another one I'm doing in about half an hour on the other channel, Produce channel, and you can head off there. I'll add a link, quick link on this live session once I'm done, and then you can open it up for the next live session. Okay, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. Until again, bye bye.